Alright, day 15. Today we're talking about the different phases of your program. Okay, there are going to be a couple of different phases that you're going to be moving through, right? So I want to outline the purpose of each and every one of these phases. Okay, the first one is a health and primer phase. This is really, where we are, restoring your habits and, teaching you habits, building some consistency and adherence with the daily work that you need to do. So whether that's, your steps, whether that's training, nutrition, getting you into a good place to just restore health. Okay, so that's the very first important piece. Depending on, where you're starting out at, that phase could look different. It could, be 2 weeks for someone that can hit the ground running. It could, extend all the way to a couple of months, depending if from your starting point, right? The second thing is to go into a dedicated cutting phase. Okay, so this means that basically we are putting you into a fat loss phase or a diet where we are reducing the number of calories that you are consuming with the main intention to reduce the amount of body fat that is on your body. Okay, the next phase would be a lean gain phase. Okay, so a lean gain phase is, in other words, like a bulking phase where, you are intentionally trying to put on muscle. And with that, basically you're putting on weight at the same time, and there's going to be some fat gain that comes along in that process of the muscle building phase. But it is important for people that, don't have much muscle on their frame to achieve that tone look that they're actually after. They need to go through a dedicated building phase, and this can take anywhere from, 6 months is usually what I would recommend, and you can push it longer if you want to, but sort of like the 4 to 6 months would be a good place to sort of sit for a building phase. Okay, a couple of other phases include the reverse dieting phase, right? So a reverse diet, as the word implies, is the opposite of a diet, right? So what this means is that we are systematically increasing calories. So rather than a diet where we are decreasing calories, with a reverse diet, we are increasing calories, and this usually happens after a cutting phase, right? So after you have, reduced body fat significantly and also your metabolism has dropped, right? Because, a lighter body actually requires less calories to be sustained, right? There, to transition into a bit more of a longer term approach, you want to transition through a reverse dieting phase to, stepwise increase your calories over time. We don't want to make this, increase too large and too drastic at the start, because, we don't want to put on unnecessary fat and overshoot, our body fat, right? But we want to increase calories and we want to restore your, your health into a good place, right? While still holding on to your results that you work so hard for through the build and through the cut. So the last phase that, I want to talk about is potentially a body recomposition / maintenance phase, right? This is essentially just keeping you eating at maintenance calories. And, for people that are new to the gym, you might be able to see some body recomposition effects. So that means you're putting on muscle, you're losing fat, and, essentially, your weight might not change, but you actually are looking better and you're feeling better. And we're not putting you in a diet, but you're getting the results of your strength training, of eating sufficient protein, all these different things, and actually still feeling full because you are at maintenance calories. Okay, so it's important to understand that depending on where you're at, what your goals are, the phases of the different or these different phases are going to take different lengths of time, and whether you transition from, say, a health phase into a cut straight away, or a health phase into a gain straight away, that's going to really depend on your current body fat percentage, or your current body composition, your current training age, right, and your goals. Okay, so hopefully this sort of gives you a bit of a framework to think about, your program. We're not just like dieting 24/7, 365 days a week, a year, a day. A year? But there is seasons to nutrition, which is going to be critical for you to really achieve that body that you're after and keep that result in the long term.